And welcome back. Welcome back, viewers. Back to the crypto markets. Back to the crypto markets. And today we'll also be having a session also including the New York. So the session is going to open up within 20 minutes as of now, and from around 4:30. So let's wait and see how the market opens up today. But seems there's a lot of negativity today within the markets, and the CPI data came out. That's a consumer price index of UK. Inflation was at 9.1%, highest in a 40-year all-time high. Yeah, it's a 40-year all-time high. So we are having also inflation issues in the UK, and maybe that might also create some negativity within also the US if the inflation data within next month is quite negative in the markets. So quite a lot of FUD within the markets, especially the Kenyan market. Youths using Bitcoin to scam people around. They're using both cryptocurrencies, online article writing. People are buying from them fake accounts, allegedly, not yet confirmed. And also they're using cryptocurrencies where they're using cryptos to transact on P2P. So what you need to understand is that they were using P2P platform. So they are opening websites. You need to know this kind of website that they're using. They're creating their own websites where you will log in onto those websites first of all, and then after logging in onto those websites, you are being told to invest your Bitcoin, where you'll be getting a return of 5% daily to 10% weekly. So after you start investing your Bitcoin there, 10%, 5% weekly, what happens next from there now? You will be earning those kind of amounts within 2 days to 3 days, and then all of a sudden the site is gone and the scammers have escaped with their cash. And that's what exactly seems that they were doing, and they were caught. And sadly, whatever happened to them, that's quite unfortunate. So a lot of FUD within the Kenyan market, especially people are now afraid of cryptocurrencies, and I think that's good for the market. At least it's washing away. People are thinking that this is the idea of 100x and 50x within the market. At least most investors to get away from the market. You can even see the New York um, artists, the New York NFTs. They were protesting against NFTs. So it seems that we are now in the capitulation zone, but not enough capitulation to simply drive institutions down from their at their liquidation points or below their liquidation points. So we'll see what happens. But I'm loving how the market is being washed off. So don't be scared about the FUD about Bitcoin, especially in the Kenyan market. It's real. Cryptocurrencies are real. Just have to get used to it over time. So you need to know how legitly it is, and you know the kind of person that is doing it legitly to be able to assist you. Otherwise, you'll get scammed outside here. So be careful. It's a new market. The regulation will come globally later on, but not now. That means you're still early within the market. If you can see people saying that cryptos are scam, and yet people are making money of it, some things have been multiplying 50x, 100x. We'll see what happens within the future. But just know you're quite early. If you're watching this video as of now and as of today on 22nd June 2022. So we begin. So first of all, we are having issues within the global markets. A lot of issues. You can see 1 gallon of oil is at 7.11, 7.11. Elon Musk tweeted about it. That's quite sad. And so inflation is hasn't peaked yet, but seems to be growing day by day. So it's a chance that 40 to 30%, actually 40% to 50%, that recession can happen within the globe. So first of all, let's begin with the idea of the bonds. Before I begin with the bonds, let's go to the Bitcoin within the 1 hour time frame. So you have been checking my videos, the previous YouTube videos where I've been talking of Bitcoin simply breaking these resistances, this bullish trend line, where I was saying it needed to go move above it, but it was below it as of yesterday. Okay, it was below it as of yesterday. There it is. It was below it as of yesterday, and today it broke it over here. Today the resistance was broken over here. Yes, today the resistance was broken over here. You can see over this trend line. Immediately broke down, we fell from 21,354, and we are still having another continuous downturn. And the last point that I'm looking at is at 18,000 $913 as of now, and the price of $20,351. And this is the chart within 1 hour time frame. Now, what's happening to bonds? Bonds again have decided to drop today, negative 3.53%. That is the 2-year yield bond. Might you have a bear market on bonds beginning of this value? We might. We might have a double top, maybe probably, and then we dump crashing down the same way we experienced bonds coming up from 2019 to 2020, crashed one last time, then started pumping up. So you might have that one crash. Huh? But this 2020 was during COVID time. Huh? So let's say the inflation was at around 1.379% to 1.34%. So it came down, I think, around 50% down, but I would say this was a level to look at beginning of 2020. But in 2019, it began slowing down after inflation peaked at on end of 2018, where the Bitcoin started pumping from there. So we are having another issue over here within the bonds where it has pumped parabolically, and now we might start seeing that flash down in the market, but it will be a gradual process, not a quick process. It will be a gradual process within the market to see where that flash down will come within the market. So let's look at the 5-year yield bond, 5-year yield bonds, 5-year yield bonds. And the 5-year yield bonds is now at negative 3.89%. Now it's at negative 4.01%. Quite a dump happening within the bonds. So the European Central Bank might be working on what they promised us. And then also the 10-year yield bond is also decreasing. So you're seeing bonds are now decreasing within the market on an average of 3% to 4% or 4.5% downside the market. So it seems quite enough and good for us to say we're having a bit of withdrawals of the mortgages and the bonds within the market. But now where they start withdrawing equities, that's where they will draw the line. So it seems the monetary policies and the fiscal policies might start working on a long-term aspect of view rather than short-term. But on the monetary policies or the fiscal policies that were implemented by the uh, United Kingdom last month, seems that it hasn't worked since inflation has picked up. And they might now have to come with 50 basis points, especially the European Central Bank, rather than 25 basis points. They'll have to come with a 50 basis point, meaning also the Bank of England will have to come aggressively to control the demand that is in on the market. As you all know, there is a shortage of dollars in the market just as of now. There's a shortage in the dollar, so there's so much demand of dollar, but the supply is quite less, but more demand on the dollar. So quite interesting things to look at. So why are you thinking this is the bottom? We're pumping to 21,700. We're saying that we're going to the moon with a 0.5% increase. That was the drop. No, that wasn't the drop. We might head further down from here. If we look at if we can check, if we can check at our book map, as I'm allowing my book map to load up, if we can check on our book map, we are seeing something different. So we are seeing orders at $20,000. Why are they coming in right now? Why are orders at $20,000 coming in right now? Okay, why are they coming in right now? We have seen the orders at $20,000, which is what, 302 BTC. Then at 20,100, you're also seeing more BTC. So we are seeing more BTC at $20,000 compared to the rest. So there isn't any buying pressure as of now, but there's so much selling pressure. There's so much buying pressure that the selling pressure in the markets. But orders that were still at $18,000 haven't moved, and other dollars have increased at $18,500. There isn't any selling orders over here. Then you have another purchase at 20,300. Then other selling orders at 20,400, 10,600, and 20,900. So a lot of buying orders compared to the selling orders. Now let's have a talk about BTC. There was a bit of a simple trend line that was happening within BTC where we saw a pump within the trend line, but we came and reversed back down, and now we are pumping back up. But where did we have that aggressive vector candle coming in on the selling order? There isn't any vector candle that has come in within the selling order. If you can check this out, there's only one buying order, But look at the selling orders. They have been just gradual selling orders. There isn't any significant, like one large selling order within the 1 hour time frame, but there's a bit by bit selling orders within the market. And now we are testing another zone, and the zone that we're testing at within BTC is at the zone of we might test the zone of $20,000. That's why you're seeing a lot of orders at $20,000. This is another nice zone to see within BTC at a level of $20,000. Exactly $20,000. That's where much of the liquidity is at also. So since much of the liquidity is as that, let's look at the bearish trend line within our relative strength index, where we saw a bearish trend line over here coming back down within the 1 hour time frame. Okay. If you can check this bearish trend line within BTC from this point to this point, we can see that drop up to 21.35. We broke it, we are now retesting it down. Doesn't mean that we've broken it completely, but we might retest that bullish trend line within 21 hour time frame. So still bearish within BTC, but not at its lowest where you can be able to purchase. Within the 1 hour time frame, if I'm going to delete these, we are seeing a stagnating move within the 1 hour time frame, where there was some bit of some vector candles within the 4 hour time frame, where we saw that drop from 20,396 to 20,905 to 10,324, and now it retested that zone, popped back up from that resistance line, came back down. So we didn't retest that huge zone at 22,100 that I was talking about. So we got rejected at 21,575, especially after that CPI data came down of the UK. So if we break down that $20,000, we are testing the level of 18,929 to $19,000 is a target to look at within BTC. So since this breakout is happening over here, we might have that MW formation where we'll see a pump after that FAD, we break out, or we can see that M formation where we bit of a pump, break this resistance line, come back down at $18,000, and if we break it, we move much lower. So there's a I think FAD that is we might come if any FAD happens right now in the market, we might see that drop, but within 9 minutes, we might see that major drop happening flash within the market. So if you didn't pay yourself, as I was talking yesterday within the video, then right now you might be going back to where you bought, or you might be on the losses. So always ensure that you buy above the resistance, take on your profits, let the market play itself. So how many minutes? 9 minutes to the session. So we're waiting for 9 minutes to see where the market will open up, especially the SP 500, the Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones. But the bonds are beginning to crash down. Will the equities also crash down with the market? Today there's a lot of reds within the market just because of the CPI data, and also the Hong Kong or the Asian market also had a bit of some drop today within the markets. So recession might be looming, but on the longer term aspect of view, definitely Bitcoin might survive this kind of fad, probably pump back up. But the question is not how it will pump back, but the question is when will it come back? That's the major question you need to ask yourself, not how, but when. Okay, let how take its nature, let when arrive. Time is of variance. Okay, time is of variance. Let time take its course and nature take its course, but time will never wait for anyone. With how we can be able to capitulate on how Bitcoin can work, how it can be able to pump, how the whales can be able to control the market and manipulate it. But the question is, when will it pump? That's the major question that none of us simply knows. When will it pump? But you only normally know how will it pump. So within the 4 hour time frame, we are bit of some lows within the 4 hour time frame. Over here, we are seeing a bit of some lows within the 4 hour time frame at 3.05 from its all-time high. From its all-time high of 92.23, now we are back at 3.03, and seems bearish for me as of now within BTC, unless we retest this zone and move back up at it and maybe test the $22,000 level. But you are that resistance zone. So I'm going to open the chart also of the SP 500 to see what happened. Let's open to see what happened to Ethereum. Same case, same scenario. Ethereum also had these zones as I drew earlier yesterday. We are at that resistance zone. We tapped on that $1,170 zone of Ethereum at $1,170, touched it, came back above it a bit, ladies and gentlemen, came back down at it, came below the resistance line at 1066, then pumped back above it just a bit. So also Ethereum is fighting at its huge resistance line, as I've also always been talking about. So the chart is still there. Everything is just going at to play. This is within the 4 hour time frame. So I'm waiting for probably a bottom, maybe at the relative strength index, because the stochastic RSI has bottom, and probably to see if it will be a buying spree or a buying discount for any of us to buy Ethereum as a technical TA, probably buying Ethereum at the lowest level and then booking some profits of a 5 to 10% with maybe a leverage of 2x, 3x on leverage that we want to put in the market. But always remember, not financial advice. I'm the worst financial advice you'll ever meet outside there in the market. Remember that. Always have low leverage in the market no matter what. Sometimes TA never works. It might front run you on the shorter time frame. So let's see how that stock market is going to open up, because you've been having also a pump within Tesla where Elon Musk is just about to buy Netflix, not Nenini, is about to buy Twitter shares quite soon enough. The question is not how, but when, and that's what everyone is waiting for, on when he is going to buy the Twitter shares. So maybe if he buys, then I'm expecting a pump of Tesla, maybe on a maybe 10% or 15% within 24 hours. Who knows? Okay, who knows? Next up, oil. Oil is decreasing in price quite significantly. Oil is down negative 6.66%. It's almost at its lowest point within the 4 hour time frame, almost oversold. So it can be a bit of buying oil down here. Then probably we might see that pump within oil. So oil is moving among its around its lowest on the 4 hour time frame. Let me check at the 1 hour time frame. Oil has been oversold within the 1 hour time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and you're beginning to see an inversion on the pattern of oil. You're beginning to show an inversion pattern on oil. You can see back down. So beginning to see an inversion pattern on the oil. We might see a pump back up within the 4 hour time frame. We are seeing a low point of the oil within the 4 hour time frame. So oil is coming back down very fast. So if oil is able to come back down in price, supply will be able to increase within the market, and we'll have less demand and an increase in supply, creating less having an impact of less inflation in the market. You can see the kind of rug we've been having on oil from $122 to even $102.09. Within how long? This is within, let's look at it. It's within 13 days, 19 days. That is 3 weeks. That is 3 weeks ago. So oil is now at its huge resistance point over here. I'm looking to see where oil will retest on this zone. Will we pump back above it from this zone? We are going to break further down. And by breaking further down, I'm expecting a mini zone. I'm expecting just a mini zone of 101.13, and then a major resistance zone at 84.44 on oil. So we might get a bit of some pullback over here, maybe pump back up, having that W formation over here, or we can either break this resistance, pack back down to 93.03, then head back to 84.40. If the price of oil is able to come down within our stock markets, then more supply will be in the market, and then we'll see less demands. So oil is coming back down, that's positive. Bonds are coming back down, that's positive. But the question is, are we too late to control inflation? We might be too late. We might have been too late controlling inflation over here. So we'll see how that also goes. We'll see how that also goes within 2 months. As I've said, let's give at least n is equals to number of months or years as an integer. So let's give at least n is less than or equal to 3. That means less than 3 months, can be able to know where the market might move from here. Are we heading over to recession, heading over to bull? And by that time, 3 months from now, I'll be talking of 9th, which will be, I think, September or October. Yeah, around September or October. Yeah, I'm not sure of that. 6 and 8, 9, 10. Yeah, around September. Be able to know at least what happens between August and September. Be able to see that if this is the bottom for stocks, if this is the bottom for the crypto market, and then we start investing on Bitcoin and Ethereum first of all. The rest of the altcoins are things where one is not assured whether they'll be bullish or whether they'll ever recover again, or they'll be on a selling spree even if we move on to a bull market of stocks and crypto. So Tesla, bullish on it on a longer term aspect, but with Elon buying Twitter, having a misunderstanding between Twitter employees and Elon, there might be a bit of some FUD, just a bit of some FUD within Tesla, but I'm expecting a pump of Tesla. Netflix will always come back down because of their subscribers. So the New York session is about to open within a minute. Let's see how that chart looks like. Let's open the 1 hour time frame. Let's open the 30 minutes time frame. How are we going to open up? How are we going to open up? How are we going to open up? Let's get ready. And where is that liquidity? Look at where the liquidity is at. Liquidity are at $20,000. More volatility is coming within the market. $20,320. So we are seeing much liquidity over here. So that means it will be difficult for us to fall below $20,000. And then another liquidity is at $18,000. So let's see where the spring of $20,000 is, or they'll remove those orders within the $20,000 time frame. Let's now there the market is opened. The market is opened. There it is, red. Open up is red, negative 1.15%, negative 1.16%. Opened up at 37.33, back to 37.17. Let's look at our hit bookmap. Where is it? Where the orders? Where the orders coming in? Where the orders coming in? There's a bit of some reloading over here. Order still intact, 20,590. Let's see how Bitcoin is falling with that volatility. Negative 1.11%. Let's look at how Bitcoin is behaving towards this chart. Bitcoin is forming. Let's look at Bitcoin within also the 30 minutes. Interesting zones that I'm looking at over here. That 19,967. If you fall below that, I'll be a bit bearish. If you can pump above 20,621, I'll be a bit bullish. Let's look at what's happening. The SP 500, 37.33, quite seems it's moving on the positive side. What about BTC? Also moving on the positive side, 20,598. Are you going to break this resistance or head over to the support as a W formation, then complete your W formation, or unform an M formation heading back down? Positivity in the market seems so, just on the shorter time frame. Yeah, it's now moving above its open zone at 37.35. Let's go 37.35.52. Okay, it's opened up above positivity compared to what it opened at 37.17. So you're seeing a buying spree on the market, but not yet confirmed fully, ladies and gentlemen, not yet confirmed fully what's happening to the Bitcoin price. As I also refresh that site over there, what's happening in the stocks, pumping back up, having a struggle at that zone. You can see the 30-minute time frame chart opened bullish, bearish, resistance point at 20,621. We might also head stagnant over here. Who knows? 37.36.85, 37.29, 38.49. Bitcoin is at 20,511, about to break that resistance point of 20,621, 20,543. Where the orders, where the orders, where the orders, let the orders come in, where the orders come in, because I'm sure majority went short. They might be liquidated at this point, 37, 38.25. This is the SP 500. I'm looking at the SP 500 as an indicator. So we are fighting between the bullish and the bearish. I just opened up within 3 minutes. 37.33, moving back down. It's now getting on a loss. It was pumping back up, coming back down. I'm sure also Bitcoin also pumping back down. As you can see, that bearish trend line is forming. So it's breaking this bearish. It's already broke this bullish trend line. So as of now, I'm not bullish within BTC within the 30-minute time frame. Seems quite bearish. Here seems quite bearish. So forming a bearish trend line over here. Will it complete the bearish trend line? How much further will it go on the bearish trend line? How much further? You can see what happened over here. This was a selling spree. Or what happened over here? From here to here. This was a selling spree. You're forming again another one. But you complete the pattern back to 19,967 within the 30-minute time frame. Yes, opening up red, negative 0.93% at 729. What's happening to BTC? 20,485, 20,490. We might have a test to 19,967. Can we have a bounce at that 19,967 and then drop from that? So be careful looking at the zone. So this is in the shorter time frame. I always love looking at BTC on the shorter time frame. Within the relative strength index, we're seeing a bit of an average, but beginning of the bearish divergence. You are seeing the beginning of the bearish divergence on the relative strength index. And now what is happening to the stochastic relative strength index? You're also seeing a bearish divergence over there also. Same too, that's happening over there within the bearish divergence of BTC. What's happening to the SP 500? Back down, negative 1% within the market at 727. Back to an interesting zone over here. 3696 is a zone to look at within the SP 500. 3740 to 3717. So 3728, will it break down from its lowest of 3717? We've just opened up within 6 minutes to 7 minutes. Bitcoin breaking that. It's now retested the uptrend of the bearish trend line. It already touched the bearish trend line. It's coming back down, retesting the zones, the lower zones over here. There it is. Here's the chart. Let's see if we'll test the zone of 19,967 if you're too much bearish. From here, if it's able to test the zone of 19,967, I'll be able to take my profits if I went on a short position of Bitcoin. Liquidation points is quite low, 170.54. So where are the majority doing? Majority are going on a long position at 80.72%. Within the 1 hour time frame, we're seeing a long position of 59.93%. Within 12 hours, you're seeing a 71.74% within 12 hours. And then within 24 hours, you're seeing a 64.06%. Wow, quite nice. Huh? So people are going long. Why? What's there to go long for? Is it on the long-term basis or the short-term basis? Because within the 24 hours, majority seem to be bullish within the shorter time frame. But to look, if you look at the chart, have they done any technical analysis to look at the chart to say we might be going on a bearish trend line within BTC from here? So you might have a test up to 19,967. No one knows. Let's wait and see how that occurs. And the SP 500, 3731, 3717 is a nice zone to look at if you're able to test that zone. And then at the level of 3696, also a zone to look at the bottom. Now, if you can check the Bitcoin dominance over here, we are seeing a drop in the Bitcoin dominance where a majority of people are still going on alts. I'll be bullish if you can see the Bitcoin dominance rising above its average, where you can see a trickle down within the Bitcoin dominance from 48.16% back to 44.334%. So that means people are investing on altcoins rather than Bitcoin. So I'm waiting for Bitcoin dominance to pump back up, then I'll be quite bullish. Maybe on an average, maybe on an average dominance of 60% to even 55%. That can be a healthy turn to say, now you can start investing on altcoins like Polkadot, Cardano, but not financial advice. Because we saw one rag of the relative strength index, but you're seeing an inverted pattern within stochastic RSI. We're seeing an inverted pattern within the relative strength index. So it seems that we might start pumping back up quite soon as possible. But as of now, the Bitcoin dominance is quite low at 44.35%, making people move on to moving on to altcoins rather than Bitcoin. -8, -0.8%. What's happening to BTC? Trying to test that zone of the bearish trend line exactly from 20,641. So what's happening? Come on, if you can break that, I'll say it's a retest. If it's able to break the bearish trend line, I'll say it's a retest. If it's not able to break the bearish trend line, I'll say we are on the bearish momentum. That test has happened over there. What's happened over here? At 7:30. Let's look at our data over here. Let me just refresh it a bit. 10-year yield bond is just falling further at -3.81%. SP 500 -0.87%. BTC -1.01%. Where's that zone going to retest? Where's that zone going to retest? Quite an interesting zone to know. Let the trade come to you. Never go to the trade. Always let the trade come on to you. Never move on to the trade. 3732 -0.85% on the SP 500. -0.86%. Dropping further down, waiting for that retest at 3717. Come on, come on. BTC, if it can have a retest at 19,067 or $20,000 level, that's where majority of the liquidity is at the $20,000 within a shorter time frame. So if we want to move now back to those low levels, if we are bearish, then we might move after 2 hours or 3 hours when we can get the real confirmation about the market. No one knows what's going to happen, but we can get the real confirmation about the market from 1 hour to even 2 hours or 3 hours of the markets. You're seeing that large vector candle coming back down. It came back down, was bought up, but you're seeing the large vector candle forming back down. Yeah, 3726 is heading back down to that level of 3717. So BTC is having a selling spree over here from 20,439. Let's see where it's heading to from 20,441. Bearish movement also within the stocks. I think there might be a drop today in the market, especially with the UK issue, yeah, might dropping further, -0.93%. So it's either we become stagnant or pump from this. So those are the main things that you need to look at. So look at the zone of 19,987. If you're able to break the zones of 19,987 within the 1 hour time frame, you can also the same issue. We are having that zone of 19,967, and then the same zone we'll be looking at is there. The next zone is at $18,971 is another level to look at. So if you fall to 19,967 and you went short, pay yourself. If you move to $18,971 in Bitcoin, also remember to pay yourself. So that's what I want to talk about Bitcoin. And if you can look at an example, let me do one analysis on a chart that looks clear enough. You're seeing a pump on Netflix. I don't know why. So there aren't any clear charts over here. We're seeing breaks on the shares. So with BTC, look at those range, please. Look at those range. Be careful. We'll see what happens within the shorter time frame. I'll update another session, but those are the targets I'm looking at on the short term as of today. Just as of today. 19,967, take my profits. 18,971 in case, or $90,000, take my profits. That's a decrease of maybe 8% to 7% of BTC. Yeah. So we'll see how that unfolds. So I would like to Leave you with that. Any other altcoin that I may be doing any session about, I think I'll only be doing about ADA only. There it is, 0.428. Let me clear the indicators. Bearish on Cardano. And there it is. So bearish trend line within Cardano, but it broke that bearish trend line within a 1 hour time frame. Seems that it might be bullish, but just broke it a bit. Let's see if we can get a confirmation that is breaking that bearish trend line within the 1 hour time frame on ADA. Quite short to look at. Also, we'll look at SHIB. Let's look at SHIB. Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu pumped back up. So I said these are resistance zone at the 0.00010. So if you break this point, I'll be looking to test at 0.000008. And then after that, I'll be looking for the last view at 0.073. If you fall above the main support zone at 0.0073, we might be heading another averagely 30 to 40% down. So those are the zones to look at, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the market seems to be stagnating. Not clear on whether it's where it's going to, but I'm expecting a dump today within the market, and those are the targets you need to look at within the shorter time frame of Bitcoin. So please take care. Do not over leverage. You might get surprised, you might get shocked, but please don't over leverage. So I want you to take care. Click and subscribe the channel, share it with your friends. Peace. Have a nice day and week.